All's my life I has to fight. All's my life hard times like yeah, bad trips like yeah. Nazareth, I'm fed up, homie, you fed up. But if God got us, then we gon' be alright. We gon' be.
Hello, all. So, I am back here today to talk to you about New Year's resolutions and why they often suck. And this is not to say there's just you out there by yourself saying, like, what, my resolutions suck, who are you? No. All of our resolutions, at one point or other, most of us, they kind of suck. And this is why. Because we create these kind of unrealistic things around them. And we're going to talk about what they are and how we can change them. Yay! So, number one. Time. New Year's resolutions in and of themselves are kind of set up for failure. Why are we calling them New Year's resolutions, right? Because the time around the New Year is when we often think of, okay, we have to really be on it. We have to really get into it and be consistent. And then by the time February, March hits, a lot of times that's waning and we're like, well, I started off well and I'll just get back into the groove at some point. No. Stop thinking about time as this necessary thing for it's like it has to be a New Year's resolution. Create a year resolution. What is this going to be? How am I going to make this happen in my life for an entire year? And then also don't wait for the year to start, the new year to start. If you're writing your resolutions now, start tomorrow. Start today. Or if you missed the time and it's like already February 1st, then you're like, oh no, I already missed it, so I guess it's pop. No. Write your resolution. What do you want to do? What do you want to be? It's never a bad time to start being who you want to be and changing what you want to change. So don't let time hold you back. Number two, be realistic. A lot of times we create these things, these grand plans for ourselves, which are awesome because we're challenging ourselves. And it's like, yeah, okay, I want to do this great thing. But also let's be real with who we are and what our realities are, right? So if I know that I want to get more in shape, I'm not going to say, if I know that I haven't been to the gym, I'm not a regular gym goer, I don't run, whatever. I'm not going to say, I'm going to run the New York City Marathon next year. Always good to challenge yourself, and if you can create a realistic plan to make that happen, far be it for me to tell you that can't be one of your goals. But be realistic with yourself. If you know that you can only get to a gym or you can only run twice a week, don't tell yourself that you're going to be ready for a marathon in like 6 months. It just makes sense. So kind of try to find ways to actually fit things into your life, things that will actually fit into your schedule, things that you can actually capably do, but still challenge yourself. Still give yourself a little bit of wiggle room to kind of reach for the stars, but things that you can actually handle. Otherwise, we set ourselves up for failure, and then when we don't get it, we're just like, oh, resolutions are shit. Number three, make a plan. I kind of alluded to this a little bit when I was talking about realistic goals, but if we don't set ourselves up and actually create outlines for how we're going to get things done, then a lot of times we won't get them done. Like, you wouldn't send in a proposal that just says, I'm going to do this. Here you go, boss. No, don't do that to ourselves either. You have to actually create, how are these things going to happen? What are the steps I'm going to take to make these things happen? Those things are important in actually getting you to where you want to go. So if you're going to create resolutions with little bullet points under each one that say, how the hell I'm actually going to do this shit. Number four. So some people have decided to do vision boards instead of doing resolutions, which are awesome. I love vision boards. I've done them before, and I think it's really great, especially because some people are more visual human beings and they think visually more than they do with words. Great. But with the vision boards, what often happens is that we'll do them and we'll kind of have them around for a month and we're like, oh my God, look at my pretty vision board. It's so nice. And then we forget about it. It's like becomes background noise. So we have to make time to make sure to look at our vision boards. If you're going to have that be your thing, just make sure to take 5 minutes every morning or every night, however you want to do it, whenever time of day seems appropriate to you, and actually look at your vision board. Remember why you put each of those things there. Why is that important to you? What have you done in the last day, the last week, the last month to actually get those things done? Continuously keep it in the front of your mind so that way you're not just forgetting what all your goals were. Just keep looking at it. Keep telling yourself, okay, I put this up here for a reason. What have I done? How am I going to get to it? It's important. And you can do the same thing with your resolutions. Keep reading them, making sure that you're checking back. Because if you're forgetting about what's happening, which is easy to do with everything else that we put in our lives, then you're not going to get your goals accomplished. Last but not least, number 5, maybe try something different. my thing that I'm going to try for this year is a manifesto. And it's something that I got from this book by Jen Sincero called You Are a Badass, which I recommend to everyone. I'll try to put a link or something down somewhere for you to look it up. But what she suggests essentially is creating a story for yourself. It's not just like I will do this and I will do that. It's I see myself and I am an executive. I do have a corner office that is sunlit with windows, and I have a picture frame on my desk. I am running in this marathon, and I am. Put yourself in these spaces. Create like almost a movie for yourself, where it's like this vision that you're inserting yourself into, like it's real. And the more you read it, read this every day. That's a really important part. Read it every day. And it gets you kind of excited about seeing yourself in a life that you want. And it kind of motivates you more to want to be everything that you need to be to have that life. So get really specific, get really detailed, down to the amount of money you expect to make. And don't, do what you have to do to make it a fantasy life that you really want it to be, but see yourself being in that position. And then again, as an addendum, right, how can I do this? How can I get there? Remind yourself to have a plan for getting to these spaces. So those are my tips for your New Year's resolutions, or resolutions as I want to say. But check back in. Love and light. See y'all.